Zohran Mamdani takes to D.C. today to rally Democrat support as party tensions flare over his socialist-viewed mayoral bid in New York City. One of Mamdani's top backers, AOC, says he was well received. Marc, former White House Legislative Affairs Director during the first Trump administration. Megan Hayes is a former Director of Message Planning for the Biden White House. So, Megan, let's why all the secrecy about Mamdani's appearance today? They changed the location at the last minute. It left our Aisha Husni trekking around D.C. to try to find out where it was. They put butcher paper up on all the windows of the restaurants so nobody could peer in. I mean, if you like this guy and you want to get him out there, why hide him?
And sometimes I think that both parties get a little too cute by half here, and it sounds like this is what was happening. I think that he is trying to plead his case to some of the established Democrats that he wants to have endorse him, and I think that that's why they're there. And I'm sure that, I don't know if Chuck Schumer was there or if Jeffries was there, but I'm sure that they probably don't want it to be running on Fox News that they were there today, so that's probably a little bit behind the secrecy.
I mean, they even wished him out the back door.
Yeah.
Look, the visuals of him with AOC and Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders are great for Republicans, and I think that's what Democrats want to avoid. But it's also, I think, good for the growing anti-Semitic, anti-police, pro-sex worker caucus in the Democrat Party. Because now that you've got multiple candidates in this race, John, all he needs to do is hold on to his fervent 30%. And so his visuals of him with AOC actually continues to keep that support in lock, but it also helps Republicans a lot, too.
Well, she certainly has been the cheerleader in chief. This is what she said earlier today. Listen here.
Get to know him. Get to know him. You know, this is not about having any kind of hard line. I think that if anybody is skeptical, I would say get to know him. And once you get into a room with him, kick the tires yourself and make your own assessment instead of just kind of making assessments from what you may see on television.
Don't make assessments from what you may see on television, which just happens to be words that are coming out of his own mouth.
Absolutely. He has a lot to explain for some of his policies, and I don't think a lot of moderate Democrats, and I don't think a lot of moderate New York Democrats, and even some moderate Republicans appreciate his views and his socialist views. I think they want to see different solutions. I do think they agree with his problem of affordability. That is a major problem in New York, as it is in the rest of the country. I think the solutions are what is their sticking point.
I remember when my older daughter first moved to New York, and she said, "Dad, come and see my apartment." And it was all I could do to not pull her out of there and bring her back home. I mean, the conditions that young kids are living in these days is just extraordinary because it's just so expensive.
And they'll have a real problem. 50% of their tax comes from the top 2% of earners. So if you start losing a lot of these really wealthy New Yorkers because of his policies, they are not going to be able to afford even putting in place policies that are already there.
The high costs are usually driven by government programs, less by free markets, John. And I think the reality is that having a solution to say that the government should own all the grocery stores in New York is not the way to go. And I agree with AOC. I think it's good for all Americans to get to know him because I think that's the direction the Democrat Party's going now.
So he made some news yesterday talking to New York City business leaders in which he said, "I'm going to discourage people from using the phrase globalize the intifada." But on all his other policies, he stuck to his guns. The New York Post wrote, mayoral frontrunner Zohran Mamdani stuck to his socialist guns during a highly anticipated powwow with Big Apple business leaders Tuesday, doubling down on his plan to raise their taxes if elected. Asked about his intent to lean on the ultra-wealthy and corporations, Mamdani told the executives that taxes had been raised on those groups in the past without it resulting in an exodus of high earners from the Big Apple. But if you're running a business in the Big Apple and you see this guy coming along and it's going to cost you a lot more, do you want to stay there or do you want to move to Nashville or Dallas or Orlando or someplace like that?
Their tax bracket is also extremely high in New York City, as you know from your daughter. I've lived there before. It's extremely high and it's unaffordable for people who are even upper middle class. You can't raise a family. It's extremely challenging. So I don't think that raising taxes is going to go over very well to pay for some of his socialist policies. But get to know him, and I agree with you that people do need to get to know him and understand what he is about. And I think that this is really where the divide's going to come. Are people going to push Adams or the Republican out of the race to have it be a Cuomo-Mamdani matchup, or are they going to stick with Mamdani?
All right. So even if they did manage to push Eric Adams out of the race, and there's talk that maybe Donald Trump would benevolently give him a position in the administration to get him out of the race. Can Cuomo win? I mean, he's really disliked in New York.
Certainly has huge negatives. I think that his policies towards senior citizens during COVID leaves a lot of questions. Sexual harassment, I think, is certainly going to be hanging over his head. But he definitely would do better in a two-person race as opposed to a multi-candidate race. And a multi-candidate race favors Mamdani.
Are you sort of resigned to the fact that Mamdani is going to win?
No, I don't think so. I think we'll have to see. I think there's a long 3 months ahead of us, and I think it just depends to see how the other candidates shake out.
It doesn't help Democrats a lot, though, to have Cuomo back as the face of their party either.
Right. She'll be burning two candles. Thanks. Good to see you. Sandra?